my name's Tim McCumber. We're here at BrickSlopes, and this is my Mech facility. So what we did was we have the front part is where we're constructing the mech. In the back is where we have the completed mechs. They're going through a final checklist of things. The mechs on this display actually transform from a vehicle mode to a robot mode. And there's an example in the back of the robot mode of the blue robot, and then there's an aircraft mode. They do fully articulate without taking them apart. And we do have a red helicopter up front here, and we'll actually do kind of a demonstration. We'll see if we can get the robot to transform without falling apart on us. One of the tricky things with all Lego parts is when you start to articulate and move them, they tend to be a little bit heavy, so you have to be very careful because they have a tendency to fall apart. So we'll go ahead and we'll
let's check it out.
Transformation over here. So we're actually going to move to the little section over here because it's a lot easier to do it on the ground than it is in the air. So we'll actually start by taking the blades and we're going to fold them up so that they're out of the way. And then, so when we build it, if you look at the bottom, you can't really tell that it's a robot when it's done. It looks like a helicopter. And there's different joints where it actually connects to the rest of the model. So we're going to pop this joint right here, and we're going to roll the leg out. And we're going to pop the joint on this side and roll the leg out. We're going to roll them around, and then we're going to push the foot out and roll it back. Roll this one around. We're going to push the foot out. We're going to roll it back. Now we got to get the arms out of the way so that the rest of the model can work. So we'll pop the little pins that hold it in place. We roll it down. And we kind of hid that from the back, but that's how it looks. We roll it around like so. Now this is the tricky part because there's actually pins in here that hold the torso rigid. So we're actually going to take this off for just a second. There's little guns hidden up front, so we have to open these pockets. Now we're going to gently get the body to snap. And then we roll it back. And then this part snaps as well, maybe. Ooh. Oh, that's actually the gun. We'll show you that in just a second here. And then he'll actually stand up. Maybe, hold on. We got to fix his leg. And then the gun actually goes in the hand, like so. And that's what he looks like.
Now you just have to keep it from falling over.
Well, his joints are getting old, so normally they will hold him, but...
That is a remarkable transformation, though. I mean, the way that you can take that from a helicopter into this mech build.
Yeah, and so it's funny, the blue robot that was the impetus of all of the ones, it took me about 6 weeks to figure out how to make his body move without all of the arms and feet getting in the way. And then my buddy wanted me to build a helicopter, so that brown and green one was the second one I built. It took me a week. And then this one actually took me 3 days to figure out how to make it work. So it's been an interesting process. I learned a lot about how the joints work. I've tried it with different joints, and I found that these ones just align with each other so that all the bricks can actually snap together. I've tried other ones, and they don't line up correctly, so the model's a little bit flimsy when you're trying to hold it. So But yeah, it's been a fun process to learn how to make them transform from one mode to another. So
One thing that's cool about this layout is that it's actually done by you and some of your relatives as well, right? So it's kind of a group effort.
so it's actually 4 generations of us that worked on it. So my dad, then there's me, my son, and then my grandsons helped me. So the mech that's actually in the gantry is my son's design. The little mech that's beside the blue guy is my grandson made that one, and my other grandson made this guy with the claw that's got the little alien from
Toy Story.
in it. And then my dad helped me with a lot of the tiling and the mech facility up front, and then of course the robots are my design. So it was a group effort. There's 4 generations of us that worked on it. So
I
it was
also
a lot of fun. So.
I love the inspiration from Exo-force as well. That's a theme that I grew up playing with. It's super fun theme. You don't see a lot from that though.
No, Exo-force actually was really where I think Lego made that transition to where you could actually do a good job with robots. The joints that came in the Exo-force sets were new at the time. There was enough of them that allowed you to create a very realistic robot, and they're one of my favorite sets that they've ever done. And yeah, it heavily influenced a lot of the design of the mechs. But yeah, that was one of my favorite sets. And then there's a lot of them. Actually, the pilot that's in that suit is from the Exo-force. He is, I can't remember whatever the green-haired guy was, but we dug through all my minifigs to find him and his green hair. Unfortunately, my children at one point, and I found this out yesterday, they used to play with all the different hair for the Exo-force people, so that was the only hair that I had left out of all of my minifigs was for the green guy. So it was a little frustrating, but that's okay. So, but yeah, there's a lot that's in there from that set. So even the bad robots here in the tower, that's from Exo-force. There's a bad robot here that works on this helicopter when it's sitting there. So, and I think it's funny because in the Lego Digital Designer, those arms are still called bad robot arms. And it's actually the finger joints for most of the mech is those bad robot arms. So it's just funny that they call it something else now when you go to like BrickLinks or whatever, but in the Lego Digital Designer, it's funny. You click on it, it says bad robot arm. Like, okay, we'll use that one. So anyways.
Yeah,
So.
these are fantastic models. I love that they can transform and just the whole layout here. And I'm so glad that there were multiple generations that were able to get involved with this. So thank you for taking the time to take us through the layout.
Thank you.